Good afternoon, friends and other assorted people who may be joining us. Happy Monday to you. Over the weekend, or maybe it was late last week, Thursday or Friday, I started listening to some podcasts by a person that I followed for a few years. His name's Levi Kreiss, Kreiss. And his podcast is called The Church of Christ. And Levi's claim to fame is that he's a Tony Award-winning actor in the role of Jerry Lee Lewis in the show $1 Million Quartet. And I had first heard of him and heard him on an interview about 15 years ago, and I've just kind of followed him since. And then he started putting out this podcast. I thought, let's see what he's got. Well, he brings up the F word. Not the one you're probably thinking of right off the bat, not the 4-letter one, but the actual 11-letter one. Forgiveness. That's just one of my trigger words. If I want to be millennial or something, it's just one of those things that I know in my life, there's a lot of it to do. A lot. I could give you a list that will go on for quite a while of people and things that need to be forgiven. But you know who the most important person is to forgive in all this? Is yourself. Me, as I'm looking into this camera over there. I have to forgive him. I have to let him off the hook for the choices that I made, for the decisions that really probably weren't the best, for holding on to things way too long. Oh, I could just go on and on and on. And as I sit here and think about this, why is this so hard? Why would it seem easier to forgive someone else for their transgressions against us than it is for me to forgive myself for making decisions that, as Levi said in one of his podcast episodes on the topic, we probably would have made the same choice all over again if we were to go back there and do it. Or there was probably no other choice that we would have made at that time. Well, that's depressing as hell now, isn't it? And he says the person that matters most in all this is you, forgiving yourself. Me. I've known that I really have to work on this more than I have in years past. And you think you're doing your work, but you know what you find is the deeper you go, the more you have to go. It's like the onion. You just take off one layer, then there's another. It just seems like it goes on forever. It's time for some deep work. There's so much that needs to be let go. And, he uses in his stories, an example of hitting a drug-induced bottom. Well, thank God I don't have that problem. I don't need to go that far. I don't want to go that far. I need to make the decision. Wait, let's stop saying need. See, when we need and shit on ourselves, that just always causes so much more. Maybe just a good old affirmation, I release the past and let it go. I forgive myself for all my sins against myself. And when we say the word sin, let's go back to its original meaning of missing the mark. For all the times I've missed the mark. Coming out of this situation that we're in, how are we going to treat ourselves? Are we going to let ourselves off the hook when we might do things that aren't our highest and best? Or are we going to be able to say, all right, let's let that go and move forward? This feels a little on the awkward side, and it's awkward because it's so true. And I just want to leave you with that thought. Maybe as we're in this downtime, maybe it is time. Well, no, it is time. It is time for me to start letting go of some of this stuff. Start letting go of some of the regret. Not some of it, just letting go of the regret. I keep hearing this stuff over and over again, and you'd think I would have it figured out by now. But I don't. And I think there's probably a lot of you out there too who haven't figured it out yet, or who haven't just let it go like you should. Oh, I use that should word again. Or like you desire for a much better choice down the road. And with that, that concludes this chat today. Peace, friends.